Yo, what is good everyone? OJ here and welcome back to another video. Today we've got some great information for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with Masahiro Sakurai talking about working with third-party characters in the Super Smash Bros. Franchise. And of course with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, they brought back all of the characters before third-party wise that were missing. So for example, like Snake from the Metal Gear Solid series, and of course we got Joker coming up, and there's some new ones as well with Simon and Richter Belmont. So let's go ahead and get into what he had to say in a recent interview with Edge. Quote, "There are cases where I meet with the original creators myself once or twice, but in general, communication is carried out through Nintendo. In addition, it wouldn't necessarily be the original creator I would meet, rather like how I was directly involved with the Kirby series, but don't know about other projects now. We've made various changes so that both cartoonish and realistic characters can appear on the same screen together, with it seeming natural and the characters still looking cool. Character movements are also developed with a Smash Bros. Style first. The end result from this is then passed on for review by the other companies so they can point out any problems for us to fix. Though there might be some differences in what is regarded as acceptable in terms of Smash Bros. And in terms of the original series, in the end we try to find something that both sides will be happy with. What I've always thought throughout my time working on the series is that if what I make is of good quality, more people will support it. I can feel the expectations coming from both inside and outside the company that Smash Bros. Ultimate will be able to do it right." So that is freaking amazing what he had to say here in terms of just like how they have to get these characters together and what goes down. It seems like he's not letting on how frustrating that it could be, because he just gives us a little glimmer. He says, okay, well, the pressure is mounting inside and outside of making sure that we get this right, and then we have to take like the character animations and kind of what they do. We have to go back to the company, they have to approve it, they have to figure something out. So there is a lot on his plate. Snake, all of his moveset is pretty much the same that they had with Brawl, so I'm guessing that if they were okay with it in Brawl, they'd be okay with the same thing in Smash Ultimate. But I'm also thinking like Simon and Richter Belmont, obviously you have to make sure that they walk a certain way, they have certain type of abilities and all that. They don't want Simon Belmont doing something like, let's say, like point out like an arrow because he never really had it, or they don't want him like shooting a fireball because he never shot a fireball in his games. That's not Castlevania. So you have to make sure that everything falls in line with what they've got. But I think Sakurai is very good at that. But they definitely want like the walk, the power walk that they do. They want that stuff and all of that. And then, you know, we did have a few other third-party characters. Bayonetta, you have to make sure that the style is what Bayonetta is and everything like that. Mega Man, I know Capcom definitely wants Mega Man to be how Mega Man is and his abilities and all that, how Capcom treats that franchise. So I can see that it might be difficult to deal with, but if there's anybody that can do it, it's definitely Masahiro Sakurai. But at the same time, I think that he knows the support is there. He said that if he makes it as good as quality as possible, people will support it, and we're getting the initial sales numbers out from Japan and the UK, and it looks like Smash Bros. Is off to an explosive start, better than any of the other games in the franchise. So more people are supporting this than ever, and this is not on the biggest install base that Nintendo has had when it comes to a home console or a system. It's actually lower than Smash Bros. For Wii U and Nintendo 3DS, yet it's selling better so far. So I think it's pretty cool. So what do you guys think about what Masahiro Sakurai said about third-party characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and just in general? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, and moving on to the next topic here, going back to the whole E3 thing and everything like that, because there's been a lot of talk about Sony kind of pulling out of E3 and what Nintendo does there, what Microsoft is going to have in the next generation. But Reggie fils-aime did talk about how Nintendo approaches E3, why it's important to them, and what games they decide to show off. And this was recently at the Game Awards. IGN caught up with Reggie, and he had quite a bit to say, so we'll go over some of his quotes. Here's what he had to say on the matter. E3, those 5 days, is the opportunity for the world to find out what's new for video games as entertainment. And during that time, we generate more entertainment than whether it's CES or Comic-Con or any other big entertainment events. People tune in to find out what's new and to have the first playable experiences for our industry. That's why E3 is important to Nintendo. Our mentality has been to constantly innovate what we do and how we message at E3. we've innovated in how we utilize our boot space to create a little piece of Hyrule or to create a little piece of the environment in Super Mario Odyssey as examples. We innovate in how we deliver our messaging, whether it was the big stage productions or whether it is the Nintendo Direct communications that we do today. And so everyone's watching. We drive innovation, we leverage the elements. So for us, it's a very effective opportunity to deliver our message, and therefore it's a no-brainer for us to participate. Now, what's important as an industry though is that E3 in total continues to innovate and continues to be the leading opportunity to drive consumer engagement in this way. So that's why we participate. That's why I sit on the board of the ESA to help drive some of the thinking. It's important to us. Now, Reggie also talked about what games they showcase and said that they want to show games that are a little bit closer on in terms of when they're going to bring out stuff. Obviously, Metroid is seeming to not be one of those, but in general, Nintendo usually shows games that are fairly close to release around the time of E3, or they focus on that. So there you go. That's why a lot of the games that they showed off at E3 were stuff like The Hollow and Dragon Ball and Starlink. All those games came out recently. Even Fortnite was dropped that day. Paladins dropped that day. They had Super Smash Bros. That's coming out this year. I mean, they showed off a lot of stuff that was recent, and then maybe sometimes they'll give us a little glimmer of things or a little sight of things otherwise. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was showcased as well. So I think that that's the right way to do it. The one thing that I don't want to see is that I don't want to see teaser trailers and then the game comes out 4 years later. I mean, we maybe even saw that with Dragon Age, right? Dragon Age got a teaser trailer, but the rumors going around is that that game is very far off. I mean, I remember at the Game Awards, they showed off Bayonetta last year. They showed off Bayonetta 1 and 2, and then we got it that February. Then showed off Bayonetta 3, but that was the Game Awards. But at E3, I definitely want to see stuff that's coming out within that calendar year or the following year. That's what I want to see, you know, from Nintendo. And I know Metroid Prime, they didn't do that, but maybe they just showed that off because it's been so long and they wanted fans to know that, hey, look, we know it's been a long time, but we do have Metroid in development. So I'm thinking that's the reason why they did that at E3. But at the same time, I mean, I think it's good to make sure that you have games that are going to be coming out recently and not show the same games over and over. And I think that's like what Sony does at times. They kind of just show the same games over and over, and then sometimes have some new surprises. But I think overall E3 is important to Nintendo, but obviously they've had Nintendo Directs that are bigger. Their message in terms of what they do definitely innovates. People are starting to copy them a little bit. We're starting to see other companies. I know Sony's kind of taken that approach, not this past year, but the year before they did. They just kind of showed a B-roll of different trailers and stuff and came out and talked very little, very Nintendo Direct-ish. So we're seeing companies kind of do the same thing, and we're seeing what Nintendo's done, like with the booth and dressing stuff up as Hyrule, like Reggie said. And every year it can be a hit or a miss. I mean, for some people, depending on what you like and what you don't like. But for me, E3 is just part of the whole show. It's part of the whole thing that Nintendo does along with Directs. It's not the be-all, end-all. But then again, it's still something to where we're going to get some extra content. We're going to get some new stuff. And we're going to get new announcements. There's going to be things that they're going to show off. So I just think of it as part of the whole year, not just this needs to be the greatest show in the world. I think of it as just part of what Nintendo's already doing, or what companies should already be doing. E3 shouldn't be the focus of everything. It's important, but definitely not the be-all, end-all. And we're going to get more Nintendo Directs. We're going to get other shows. We're going to get Game Awards. They had some good announcements there. So what do you guys think about what Reggie had to say here? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe preload is live, and we've got the file size for the game. So on the Nintendo Switch eShop, you can go right now at this point and download the game. You can buy it and download it and have it ready to go. So right where it is, wherever you live, like midnight or whatever the case is, depending on your time zones and all that, it'll be able to go live and you can play the game right then and there. So the download size for this game is actually quite small. It's only 2.5 gigabytes of space. That's all you need for it. You will be able to use the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. They're supported English, Japanese, Spanish, French. They have all the different languages there supported as well. The game does officially launch on January 11th, 2019. So it looks like everything is set for New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. And I think this game is going to do extremely well considering all the floods of people who are buying a Switch for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, or they got a Switch for Christmas with Smash Bros. And they want something else to play. The multiplayer on here is crazy, and it's really polished for an experience just for 4 people to hop in. I mean, it's not necessarily the best to play, like if you're trying to do all the most difficult things in the game, because you can run and jump into each other and all that. But at the same time, it's still a fun game to play co-op with family and friends. And New Super Mario Bros. U should have done way better than it was, but it was just on the Wii U, so it didn't do better, even though it was actually better than New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS. But that game ended up selling way more just because the 3DS sold way more, the system itself. So I think with this second chance that it gets, including the Super Luigi U in there, in addition to some new stuff as well, this game is going to do better than people think. So what do you guys think about New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe? Are you guys planning on picking that one up? Also, what Reggie had to say, and Sakurai working with third parties in Smash Brothers. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section below. Alright, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages and consider supporting PlayerEssence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube membership. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next video. Peace!